Hi everyone, it's Natalie. This is a response to the hashtag that B from Ikale Sunflower put out about round or circular decks. So I thought I would start here. And then, of course, clear my throat, shift my chair, and do all the things. So as you can see, these are decks that, these three are decks that I've clearly wrapped and, lovingly put into round. Oh, I forgot I need to mend that one. Anyway, they've got their own little lovely round bags. I found them at a bookstore a while back, so I don't know where these were made. I mean, they're clearly mass-produced. Sometimes people have asked that in past. That's why I mention it. And I just realized I need the list of questions that B put in her response. So I got to look that up. Okay, so I've got B's info here from the description box. So yeah, she writes in her video, what is it that draws you to circular decks? Truthfully, my love of circular decks started with these two, so we'll put this one to the side, and grew from there. So these bags hold two copies, the mini and the larger version. I thought it'd be easier to get into. This is some eco-printed silk that I realized I wasn't going to use for any other purpose. And I thought, what better to wrap a deck like the Motherpeace, which is has a very earthy feel to me. So this is the Motherpeace, and it's a deck I'll just there's a lot to talk about with this deck, especially if you remember my video from 2020, which shockingly to this day is still one of my more viewed videos. I still get a lot of comments on it, and between this hashtag and all of the comments and realization, like, wow, people really are intrigued by talking about that topic and watching it. I'm going to do another video, like an update about the Motherpeace at some point, hopefully soon. I've been really thinking that one through for a couple of months now, and I feel like I'm about ready to talk about it and be able to speak articulately on the topic, which feels important to me anyway, to be able to do. The small copy is not the sort of what do I want to say? They like the newer versions of the deck have been like remastered a little bit digitally and kind of sharpened up, and so the colors are different, which I actually really like. It doesn't bother me. Some people have found that to be a kind of problematic. I love having the deck in both the larger and the smaller format because it was one that when I first had it, I loved it so much. I've always been intrigued by it. It was one of the first decks I ever picked up. I don't know why I never followed through on just getting it and having it. Even back in the 90s, I mean, we're talking back in the early 90s, which I know for a lot of my viewers is still like yesterday and not very long ago at all. So, and for some of you, it's like, whoa, that's forever and a day ago. What do you mean? But yeah, I mean, this is a classic. It is a classic. There is no doubt. It has a lot of books and rituals and information available about it. It is and is not a controversial deck for so many reasons on both sides of that. And while I do still really love it, I really do. And I'm working on healing my relationship to this deck because I feel like there's a lot there. There will be a video about it. But this was the one that started me with circular decks or round decks because it's just so lovely. I love the shape of round decks. I love the feel of something circular that moves, that's round, that's feminine. It's often, when I see a circular deck, you know, on offer, it makes me want to get the deck. I've always loved the Chariot in this one. But yeah, it's and the Fool, because I mean, geez, you know. It's just so marvelous. But yeah, I mean, it has always drawn and attracted me. I love the round and circular nature of it. I feel like there's so much to that. So, you know, that's a big part of the draw to me of circular decks. I think we could just stack them up here, actually. Let's see, I'm going to pull up her list again. Yeah, I love the roundness. I just love the roundness and the round shape. It's so beautiful. So not long after going ahead and getting the Motherpeace, I also went ahead and I saw Dee Dee from Grunewald, or the Green Owl, do an unboxing of the first and second editions of this deck, which is the New Earth Tarot. And it became an instant favorite. It's just beautiful. It's just so beautiful. It's by, oh shoot. It's Kate Silver, and I forget the other creator's name. Shoot. At any rate, it is a self-published deck. Kate Silver, it's, I think, Silver Dog Publishing, you know, publishes it. You can get it on Amazon. You can also get it on their website. I know that Kate Silver has, she has an Instagram for the deck, you know, for New Earth Tarot, and then she's also got her personal one. But yeah, it's just such a cool deck. I love the way that the circular space was utilized, right, to create the images, and make them meaningful. I just think they're awesome. You know, I don't find many challenges in circular decks. I really don't. They don't provide me with any real challenges. I don't have any with them. I haven't done a lot of the work I think that I could do in order to really be extra efficacious with a round deck, right? So learning how to use them directionally, which is something I believe was started by the creators of the Motherpeace. I've never worked with that. I basically just shuffle them and draw them and then, you know, read with them. It's just not rocket, sorry about the shaking there. It's just not rocket science for me. I just, you know, whatever the card is, I pull it and I pull it up like that. And then I lay them out. I am one of those people, I love the way that they look. See, like just the use of the space is what I find so cool about some of these decks. They just don't bother me. They don't bother me in the sense that, like, oh no, what if they land a certain way? Most of my circular decks really shuffle beautifully. I don't have any issues with that, you know. They don't always bridge comfortably, but it's not a big deal. So I love them. What else did she put in here while we're futzing? Oh yeah, how many do I have in my collection? So I realized, like, I was looking to see how many I have. I have 1, 2, 3, I have 6. I thought I had more. I don't know why I thought I had more. Probably because there are always more circular decks that I'm looking at and adding to my list of decks that I would really love to have, and just have not yet procured. So, you know, we will undoubtedly find more in the coming years. But I do love them. I do love them. They really, I adore them. So here's another one that I think B also has. It's the Crystal, let's see, Crystal Medicine Oracle Shamanism cards. This was a gift from Queen Osset a long while back, and she had an extra copy of the deck and wanted to know if I'd like to have them because she thought they would really pair beautifully with the Earth, the New Earth Tarot, and they do. They're exquisite, and I edged them in silver because that felt like the right color as well, because this lovely gold and blue, and I thought, ooh, that would be nice like as a silver and blue, and they do work really, really beautifully together, you know, as you can see, and they're just stunning. Yeah, and the colors are great. I mean, they look almost like they were created to work together, really, in a way. We've got this Divine Masculine. I just had that Buddha card pulled out a couple minutes ago, and I don't know where it went, of course. But it's just beautiful. Anyway, I'm mixing my cards up because I can't decide which way they're supposed to go. But yeah, this one in particular, you know, is the reason that I ended up getting Fulgurite, which is created when lightning strikes sand. It's just a really neat stone to have. It's beautiful. Yeah, and it has changed my relationship over time with a lot of different crystals. I still haven't found a piece of Numite that I'm happy with and wanted to purchase and spend the money on. Black Moonstone. I managed to get a hold of a piece of that after connecting with this card. Turquoise, Topaz, Malachite. This helped me to understand Malachite better because I couldn't, for a long time, I really couldn't connect with it. And it changed after, I don't know when it changed exactly, but I know that it definitely changed after working with this deck. You know, Seraphinite is moving forward. Yeah, so, I mean, these don't, I have here, green tourmaline, yes. Yeah, Boji stones, Bixbite. I have most of the stones now that are used in this deck. Not all of them. There are a few, like, I love this one for the black tourmaline. Lots of Buddhas in this deck. I have a Udilite now that's actually heart-shaped. I thought it was right to hand, but it's not. It's someplace else. I can't grab it. Boulder Opal. Those are expensive, otherwise I'd have one by now. Green Calcite. Yeah, it's just a cool deck. I really love it. And the book is really, really well done. Yeah, I recommend it. Great deck. Beautifully done. The artist of this particular deck is let's see, it's Rachelle Charmin. The artist is Len Hibble, but her connection and work with crystals is deep. It's really deep, and you know it and feel it by working with the guidebook as well as the deck. I really have never used this one, I don't think. Maybe a few clients a while ago. Mostly I work with this deck for myself. Both New Earth and this one tend to be self decks. You know, they're not, I have used them with clients, but usually they're like really close friends. I don't tend to pull this one out for anybody that I'm not really, really close to. Yeah. So anyway, and there's Rachelle. She's marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. Okay, so there's that one. I really love that deck a lot, as you can tell. This is probably one that most people are familiar with. It's the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck, which has a lot of mixed reviews. I really like it. I find it, I know a lot of folks were really disappointed with it. I really love the way that she worked with collage and, you know, like alcohol inks and watercolor pens, pencils, you know, colored pencils rather, etc. I actually, with this deck, I write on it, as you can see. I like the backs. I know they're pixelated. It's a style choice. You know, it's a choice. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't see it as a poor choice even. I love it. I think it's really neat. I don't think it's lazy. I think I heard someone say it's just really lazy. I don't feel that way about it at all. You know, as I've worked with the deck and drawn the cards, and I haven't worked with it for a little while. I think I pulled it out last winter and worked with it quite a bit more. And then, you know, as I pull it out and feel called to it, I just continue to work with it this way, mostly as a self tool, you know, as a growth tool for myself rather than one for clients. But I then use those borders to fill in, you know, like what type of card it is. Like this one, Nectar 58, is a tool. You know, this is the medicine, the elixir, the garden. You know, the light side of it is that it's glowing, relaxed, subtle illumination. Dark side, fixation on fixing, aggressive approach to healing. Ooh, we see some of that. We see some of that. But yeah, this annoys me a little bit, which is not Kim's fault. But like having such a, you know, since I am utilizing the you know, what am I trying to say? The borders for writing, that's annoying. That's all. Just thought I'd say that. But that's a printing issue. That's not her. Yeah, it's just a cool deck. It's a really cool deck. And as you can see, I had to kind of improvise a little bit with this one around, you know, all of that. But I like the style of it. I like that it's a little different than her other decks. You know, I just saw a couple of walkthroughs of her alchemy deck, and I will probably get that one too. I really thought that was a neat one. I also see like the reflection of her own spiritual practice in here, which is very heavily projected. And that does not bother me. I've said this before, like where I can see that a deck creator has had a really profound spiritual experience, part of what I enjoy as a I guess I enjoy being a participant in that and in witnessing and understanding what that was for them and then learning from it for myself. So it actually creates more accessibility to a deck for me to understand the creator and what their experience was rather than isolating me from the deck itself and making me feel like I can't go in. Does that make sense? It tends to be that for me. It's so, you know, there are deck creators who are able to see well enough into their own, you know, they have enough insight, I guess is the word I want, to be able to do that, you know, where they can get in there and create it and make it understandable and immediately accessible to someone else, right? Rachel Pollack is someone who does that brilliantly. And other creators really just need to give expression to their own experience and then are willing to offer that up to the rest of us to see if it can connect to our own. And I feel like that's what she does here. And I'm here for it. I'm really here for it. There's a great universality to the experience of spiritual growth and awakening that I think comes through in her work, which speaks to its authenticity, I think. So yeah, so there we are. So that's this one. I mean, I'm sure you've seen, there are more than enough. Oh, I do love that one so much, the Bardo, and I've never pulled it. So I might just have to pull it out one day and just work on that card just because I want to, because I might do that today. What am I saying? What the hell? Because I'm working on creating my own end-of-life spiritual directive. So and as a Tibetan, reading about the Bardo is always helpful. And I've got a client, not a patient. I keep inverting those terms because it's hard to keep up. Yeah, I've got a client who is, I've always thought that was a strange choice. But I'm good with that. I love this one. Yeah, I've got an end-of-life client who's very much at the end and had dementia and is suddenly become incredibly luminous and conscious and amazing. And I'm doing my best to leave the family the space they need just to sit with her and be with her through that, because she's so beautiful right now in that space. Anyhow, yeah, I always remember when I pick this deck up just how deep it is. The one thing I will say about this one, as much as I love this deck, and I forget how much I do until I pick it up, is that it is, even for a person with big hands, and I have very large, you know, meat hooks here. Irony, since I don't eat meat, but it's not an easy one to shuffle or hold. And looking at the alchemy deck, it looks similar. It looks to be like a similar kind of thing. Again, it doesn't really bother me that much, but I can appreciate, like, I have friends who can't actually handle this deck, you know, physically, because it's so big. It's just too much. So I don't know. It's partly the card stock. Let's see, how does it weigh out? Yeah, it's just that little bit bigger. It's that much bigger than say this one. And it's that much thicker too, the card stock and the number of cards. So, I mean, this is 78. Here's another. This one's got thick cards. It's that much thicker and bigger than the Earth, the New Earth, which is kind of big for some people. Let's see. The mini Motherpeace is always a delight because it's so small. Yeah, I'm missing one. Here we go. This is the Motherpeace, which uses more traditional cardstock. Come out, friend. There we go. And it's, yeah, so you can see, right? Like, it's just a chunk. And that is not easy for many, many people. So anyway, there's that. And I'm going to leave that here because I know I want to work with it. And my latest one that I have that I just showed in my Cabinet of Curiosities is one I really have not worked with. I've spent a fair bit of time with it. I'm just going to grab a quick slurp of coffee. It is the 2-cent Oracle, or sorry, 2-penny Oracle by Madame Clara. There we go. And I really like it. This is my most recent. It's beautiful. It's been edged really. It's just gorgeous. And I actually chose to have this one in a circular format instead of in a rectangular one. And I did get it to read alongside the 5-cent tarot. Just to throw that out there. So, you know, where I could have chosen to get these cards in as a rectangular set that would have perfectly matched visually and everything my 5-cent tarot, I really wanted these as a circular deck. So that was my choice, because I really, really like round decks. I just think they're so neat. I like how they feel in the hand. This one's like a perfect size. It's, let's see, that's not a good one. Here, this is one that's pretty universal. They're a lot smaller than the Motherpeace, but just a little bigger than the mini. And to me, they're really, you know, especially for the way the images are used, suavity. I find the size to be ideal. This is the perfect, for me, this is the perfect sized round deck, circular deck. Yeah. And also it's language. I love language. I love playing with language. It's a cool deck. I did spend quite a bit of time with it initially because I think I talked about this in my recent Cabinet of Curiosities video, but it uses the framework of phrenology, which was historically used for eugenics you know, to kind of defend the position of eugenics. Not entirely, right? It wasn't, that's not how it started. That's the evil that evolved because, not because necessarily of the system, but because of our minds, right? Because we have that capacity. We are capable of great evil and ugliness unless we really work hard at understanding where it comes from and learning how not to identify with those qualities while simultaneously sort of uprooting them, you know, from the seed memory, which is where karma comes from. Big topic, probably for another time, but at any rate, that's what we get. So as I was deciding, like, do I just jettison the whole thing? Do I, you know, I couldn't quite wrap my head around it. I did spend a fair bit of time reading about the deck, learning more about phrenology in general, looking at the deck itself, trying to separate it from everything else, and then kind of went, okay, I think I'll put it away for a bit just until I'm ready to pick it up again, which I guess was now. You know, I guess it was just here recently because I picked it up again when I went to do the Cabinet of Curiosities video, and I'm realizing a lot of different things, which again I intend to talk about when I go into discussing the Motherpeace again in greater detail. So yeah, there we go. So there we are. And yeah, I'll look for, oh, I only just noticed there's some slight differences in the printing. Ooh, look at that. Which sometimes happens. I don't know if that's even showing up or not. But like some of them are a little bit lighter and some are a little bit darker. Or they're not, and it's just, no, they are. There's a little difference. It's very slight, very subtle. These are not things, by the way, folks, that tend to really bother me that much. I know that's something that is can be a deal breaker for some people. It just is not for me. So just putting that out there. But yeah, I don't know if these are still available or if he has them on his Etsy page. He, they, Madame Clara has it on their Etsy page. But he, they, she even. Thee would be you. And actually was the informal. We tend to think of thee as being formal, but thee and thou was actually the informal. You was the formal. There we go. Fun tips from a classically trained actor. Okay, there we go. So those are my circular decks, and I'm gonna play with this one and take the dog for a walk, and I will see you again soon in the next one because I'm having fun with hashtags right now. Okay, take care. Bye.